On the 14th day of this war, a reporter asked Donald Trump when it would end. Trump paused, then said, "When I feel it in my bones. Not when Iran surrenders, not when the Strait of Hormuz reopens, not when a ceasefire is signed. When the president feels it in his bones." That is the current timeline for ending the most disruptive military conflict the global energy market has ever seen. On that same day, the Pentagon announced it was deploying 2,200 Marines and the USS Tripoli to the Middle East. An amphibious assault ship carrying helicopter gunships, armed infantry, special operations teams, armored vehicles, and landing craft designed to put troops on hostile shores. The deployment was requested by Central Command and approved by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. The stated mission is reopening the Strait of Hormuz. This is the turning point nobody wants to say out loud. What began as an air campaign, American and Israeli jets and missiles striking Iranian targets from altitude, is now becoming something fundamentally different. The Marines are not bombing crews. They are infantry, people you send to take something physically, hold something physically, or fight someone physically near water. Their arrival will expose them to a threat environment unlike anything an American Marine has faced since the last time the United States put ground forces into the Middle East. And the last time that happened, it took 2 decades to end. Hegseth held a press conference Friday morning. He declared the United States is on plan to defeat, destroy, and disable all of Iran's military capabilities at a pace the world has never seen. He claimed U.S. and Israeli forces have struck more than 15,000 Iranian targets since February 28th. Iran's production lines, military plants, and defense centers are defeated. Iran's leadership is desperate and hiding underground, cowering. Then he used a specific word. He said that is what rats do. Then Hegseth claimed the new supreme leader is wounded and likely disfigured. No evidence was provided. No photograph, no medical report, no intelligence assessment. Hegseth stated Mojtaba Khamenei, named supreme leader 1 week ago, whose first statement was delivered without video or audio, is wounded and disfigured. He pointed to the absence of video as proof. His father is dead, Hegseth said. He is scared, injured, on the run, and lacks legitimacy. It is a mess for them. Who is in charge? Iran may not even know. 1 hour later in Tehran, a public rally was held for Al-Quds Day, drawing tens of thousands into the streets. Standing at that rally, visible to photographers and the crowd, were President Masoud Pezeshkian and Ali Larijani, head of Iran's Supreme National Security Council. The same Larijani who threatened to turn off the lights across the Middle East within 30 minutes if America touched Iran's power grid. Both men were present in public, neither underground, neither cowering, neither behaving like a rat. The rats, it appears, had planned a public rally. This is the information gap that defines Day 14. The U.S. Secretary of Defense described Iran's leadership as broken, hidden, and disfigured. The Iran he described simultaneously held a mass public rally attended by its president and top security official in broad daylight. Between Hegseth's podium and Tehran's streets lies the actual state of this war. And into that gap, the United States is sailing 2,200 Marines. The Strait of Hormuz is 33 kilometers wide at its narrowest point. On one side is Iran with a coastline stretching hundreds of kilometers. On that coastline, Iran has spent decades positioning anti-ship missiles in hardened installations, mobile launchers, underground facilities, and concealed batteries designed to engage naval vessels trying to force passage. Iran's coastal defense includes systems with ranges in hundreds of kilometers. A missile battery located inland can still reach a ship in the middle of the strait. The United States has been striking Iranian targets continuously, more than 15,000 according to Hegseth. But Iran's coastal missile infrastructure was built to survive sustained air attack. The launchers are mobile, the missiles stored in underground bunkers. The crews disperse and relocate, destroying every launcher, every storage site. Every crew is a different order of magnitude entirely. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said Navy escorts for commercial ships could begin soon. Before escorts begin, the military is planning to target land-based anti-ship missiles near the waterway. The problem is Iran has had 2 weeks to watch American targeting and adjust. Every mobile launcher in a fixed location on February 27th is now somewhere else. The intelligence picture has been partially invalidated by the movement of the very assets it was designed to track. The Marines on USS Tripoli are not being sent to a cleared environment. They are being sent to force the creation of one. The mission, seizing Iranian-held islands near the strait or establishing positions screening commercial shipping from missile attack, is what Marine expeditionary units were designed for. The MEU can launch helicopter assaults, land forces on hostile shores, and establish perimeters faster than any other American military unit. It can also suffer casualties faster in exactly these conditions. Iranian leadership has made their position clear. Forget about ceasefire. Iran has unlimited missiles, has America by the throat, and does not intend to let go. Larijani made the stakes explicit when he appeared publicly in Tehran on Friday, the same day Hegseth called Iranian leaders rats and refused American peace overtures. The shipping numbers tell the story. According to Lloyd's List Intelligence, only 77 ships have transited the strait so far in March. Last year, 1,229 ships made that passage, a collapse of 94%. More than 1,000 cargo vessels are anchored outside the strait waiting. The insurance market has withdrawn. Shipping companies will not send crews into those waters. European nations, Germany, France, and Italy are no longer waiting for American naval escorts. They are talking directly to Iran, asking permission to pass. India secured an arrangement allowing 2 LPG tankers through as part of bilateral discussions with Tehran. Countries formerly allied with the United States are quietly negotiating with the country the United States is bombing every day. This is what Iran's strategy looks like when it works. Not military victory, but political fragmentation of the coalition that the United States assumed would hold. Central Command planners acknowledged to Congress they had not fully incorporated a scenario where Iran would actually close the strait. It was considered a possibility, not a plan. The plan was for a quick campaign. Mojtaba would be discredited. Iranians would rise up. The war would end in days. Trump said 4 days, maybe a week. On day 14, 2,200 Marines are sailing toward the narrowest point in the world's most critical energy corridor. The bones have not felt it yet. Here is what the deployment actually tells you about how this war is going. You do not send a Marine expeditionary unit where the air campaign has achieved its objectives. You send them when the air campaign has not achieved a specific objective that now needs other means. The objective is the Strait of Hormuz. 2 weeks of the most intensive American air campaign since the Second World War have not reopened it. The drone boats are still there. The mines are still there. The coastal missiles are still there or relocated, but not destroyed. The 94% collapse in shipping traffic is still happening, and so the Marines are coming. This escalation has a logic. The global economy cannot sustain a 94% reduction in Gulf shipping indefinitely. Oil prices have traded between $88 and $117 per barrel, swinging on every statement. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve has released 400 million barrels to suppress prices. But that reserve is finite, a stopgap, not a solution. The solution is the strait, and the strait will not be reopened by press conferences. Hegseth said Friday this is the most intense day of bombing yet in Operation Epic Fury. Iran's air force is gone, its navy is gone, its missiles being depleted, its leadership underground. He put a $10 million bounty on Mojtaba Khamenei through the Rewards for Justice program. 9 other Iranian officials were added. The United States is now offering money to anyone who can provide information on Iran's supreme leader, the same man it cannot confirm is alive or dead or wounded. Trump told G7 leaders that Mojtaba is not in good shape and nobody knows who the leader is, so there is no one who can announce surrender. Read that carefully. The president told the leaders of the world's 7 largest economies that his war has reached a point where no one on the Iranian side can end it, even if they wanted to. There is no phone number to call, no authority to negotiate with. Pezeshkian has no real power. Mojtaba is the supreme leader, and the IRGC answers to him or whoever is making decisions in his place. Mojtaba cannot be reached, and the IRGC, which has its own interest in continuing this war, is not looking for a way out. Steve Witkoff, Trump's Middle East envoy, sent a message through Oman. Larijani responded publicly at the Al-Quds Day rally by refusing. That is Iran's answer to the latest American peace signal. A public appearance in Tehran on the day America said Iranian leaders are hiding underground, with a message that the strait stays closed, the war continues, and the only acceptable outcome is American withdrawal from the region. And yet the Marines are sailing, because what else do you do when the air campaign has run 2 weeks, and the strait is still closed, and the bones have not told you when it ends? This is not Afghanistan, where America fought 21 years against fighters with small arms. Iran has ballistic missiles, drone boats, sea mines, coastal anti-ship batteries, a proxy network from Iraq to Lebanon to Yemen, a new supreme leader whose location is unknown to American intelligence, and a population that has not risen up against its government. Iran has something Afghanistan did not: oil and the ability to use control of the world's most critical energy corridor as leverage against every country that needs fuel. The Marines will arrive. The bombing will continue. Trump will wait to feel it in his bones. The bones may be waiting a long time. In Tehran, at an Al-Quds Day rally, Larijani and Pezeshkian stood before tens of thousands while Hegseth called Iranian leaders rats. The crowd was chanting. The cameras were rolling. There was no bunker, no hiding. Instead, a very public message to Washington. We are still here. We are still standing. And you are still sending more. 2,200 Marines are sailing toward the Strait of Hormuz. 13 Americans are already dead. Trump says he will know when it is over when he feels it. Iran says it will keep fighting until the last American base in the Middle East is closed and every soldier is on a plane home. One side has a gut feeling. The other has a strategy.